Alright, here's that pot I was working on the other day. I went and sanded it because it was out of mold. Found any little imperfections and filled those imperfections in. And I just primered it with 2-3 layers of primer. It came out real nice. The only thing is when I was bringing it in from the shop, because I sprayed it out here, the pod flipped over a little bit on the railing here, the foam padding. So that's why you see a real thick clump of primer right there, because it fell in here, and when I flipped it back over, some of that primer came off. So all I did was grab a little brush that I had some wet primer still, and I brushed it on. So it's a little bit thicker here. All you have to do is sand that down when you're going to do your pod, when you're going to get it ready for paint. The whole thing actually needs to be sanded down with 400 grit wet sandpaper, just real smooth. Get a 400 grit, some water and soap, wet it up and just give it a nice sanding. Or you can do it dry. You don't have to use wet sandpaper if you don't want to. I'd go with 400 grit on this, and that will sand right off like butter. And yeah, I just wanted to make sure it was higher, not low, not a low spot. I wanted to make sure it was a high spot, because when you sand that down, it'll come right off. And you can see all the holes for the electronics are made in the hole for the steering wheel. And I got your electronics right here. I got some screws for you. If you want, you can. You said that you wanted these screwed through the bezel. I don't want to do that, buddy. These things are plastic. I don't feel comfortable screwing them through there. If you want to do it yourself, I'll let you do that. All you have to do is pretty much drill the hole right through the plastic. I just don't want to mess up the nice plastic bezel. Yeah, I recommend using 3M tape instead. So, just because that bezel looks so nice, I'd hate to put screws through it. Double-sided tape by 3M. Yeah, so once that thing's mounted, just put the 3M tape around and just stick that bezel on, and it won't come off. Believe me, it won't come off. But yeah, that's it for this video. This will be ready to ship probably in a couple days. I'm gonna let it dry fully, and then I'm gonna put your electronics in there and put the screws in. Alright, so here's Michael's pod here. Michael Shipwreck Logan on my Facebook page. And again, these things are screwed into here. I've already mounted it for you. Show you the back side. Okay. These don't really even need nuts on the back side, because it's so tight when you screw them in that it's held in place just fine. You got your hot negative. All you have to do is run it up here, drill a hole through here, and then it will run through there, and that's how you hook it up. And these ones, again, these ones can be hooked up separately, each switch. Usually run a negative. So if you got a power source you want to hook it up to, you take your negative wire from that power source and you put it in here on one side, and you take the other negative and you run it to the other side to that, and then that one runs to the power source of whatever you want to control. Flip this over, and same with these little doggles here, these little plastic things. These come out. These are just jumpers. Wherever you put them that will control which light is lit up on the front side. All you got to do is drill 2 holes. I left that for you to do. And you have to sand this down with 320 grit right before paint, 320 to 400 grit. You can see this high spot right here. That's because this thing tipped over when I was primering it. This will all sand off like butter. Really easy to sand off all this extra primer that I brushed on with the brush, because it was a low spot. And all these other little spots, they'll come out just when you sand it, and it'll be perfectly smooth. These covers fit perfectly. And again, double-sided tape around the perimeter. You don't need a whole lot. 3M double-sided tape, and that will hold on just fine. That's how it looks. If you want to run screws, you can use these same screws, or you can get a different screw if you want to, something like with a different shape to it. But you'll have to drill through these bezels. I just don't want to drill through them because they're so nice. But if you want to do it, you could always drill them out yourself and then put the screws showing from the face. I just don't like the way that looks. And these are plastic, so I prefer to do 3M tape. Other than that, yeah, when you get it, just sand it with 320 grit. Get all these little high spots off of the primer that I put on. And again, this will smooth it'll smooth out really nice with the sandpaper. So don't see that and freak out and go, oh my god, it doesn't look good, because this is not a finished part. It's been primered, but it still needs finishing, still needs sanding. And nothing else to say other than it's ready to ship. I'll have it to you. I have it out to you this week. I just need your shipping address, and that's it.